Hi everybody, welcome to this video in my construction series on how to make the hinge for your albums. I usually do this in every mini album project and it takes a lot of time, so I thought, well, this time I'm going to make a separate video showing how to do the hinge, how to determine the size and where to score, so that going forward you can just use the cutting guide in this video to see exactly how to go about it. Now normally what I do is I do a lot of measurements. They're not difficult, but it's mathematics and lots of people don't like it, or it's arithmetic, and it involves some fractions and people definitely don't like that. So I'm going to show you a way to determine the size of the piece that you need without having to measure. So what you need to do is cut a piece of your cardstock that is 1/8 inch less than the height of your pages by the full width of the paper, so 12 inches. Now, the book that I'm about to do has 6-inch pages, so I cut this 5 5/8 by the full 12, okay? And this is only one of two methods, but this is the one I use most often, so this is the one I'm going to show you. So go ahead and place that in your scoreboard with the 12-inch side all the way across the top. Okay, now, I like to make either a 1.5 to 2-inch piece that hangs over. Let me show you one. Hang on, here's my cover. Okay, so the hinge system goes here, and then I usually leave about 2 inches hanging over the side. You can make that as, you know, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 inches, whatever you like. This is a fairly small book. You could go down to 1 inch, 1.5 inches, but I'm going to go ahead with 2 because that's what I usually use. So you have your piece in here, so you're going to need 2 inches hanging over the side of the book. So score right away at 2 inches, okay? And then I like to leave 3/8 of an inch between each of my pages, including, I like 3/8 inch in and 3/8 inch in, you know, between the front cover and the back cover and the first and last page as well. So the first thing you need, so you've done your 2 inches, is to go 3/8 of an inch. So again, we're not going to do any math, we're just going to count. 1, 2, 3, because these are 1/8 inch. Score. Okay? Now, for each page, you need a 1/2 inch to go up and a 1/2 inch to go down to make the hinge. So that's a total of 1 inch, but it doesn't really matter because we're not measuring, we're just going to count. So you need 4 of these, right? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 1/2 inch. Score, and then you need another 1/2 inch for the other side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now you've got your first page, and then you want 3/8 in between. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, and now we're at the next page, so we need 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 3/8, because now we're between pages. 2, 3. And then we need 1, 2, 3, 4 for the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the next one. And now I've got 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. That's 3 pages. And this particular book that I'm making only has 3 pages. If you have 4 or 5 or 6, just keep going. Do 3/8, 1/2, 3/8, 1/2. But in my case, I'm done, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3/8 for the last space, and then 2 inches. Well, I happen to be at 6.5, so that's going to be 8.5. Okay, and then I'm going to cut actually on this last score line. So there we go. There's our hinge fully scored. All right. So then the next step is going to be to put the tape. And I am running low on tape, but I think I have enough. Okay. So if you notice, I just flipped it over because I want to be on the side where it's bumpy. So if you run your fingers across, you can feel the bumps where you scored it. And if you remember, we have 1/2 inch pairs, right? In my case, I have 3 of them. And I want to take my 3/8 inch tape, this is score tape, and And I'm going to put a piece of tape in one of the 1/2 inch gap spaces, like between the two bumps for each pair. Just like that. Okay. Just like that. And then we're going to flip it over. I don't have too much 1/4 inch tape left, but I think I have enough. Okay. So on the opposite side, again in the 1/2 inch spaces, I am putting a piece of 1/4 inch tape, and I'm going to put it in each of the, both of the 1/2 inch gaps in this one, and I'm putting it close to the score line that's between. Try and zoom in so you can see. There's more gap. So I get bored with. Like this piece of tape is quite close to this score line, and there's quite a bit more space here, because when you put your pages in, you're not going to put them all the way to the bottom, and you don't want the tape to hang out. Okay, so I'm going to do that in the other 3, or the other 2, I should say. So I had to stop and pet my kitty because she came in. Oh, here we go. Hey, little girl. Well, look at that. We got a visit from Holly. We almost never get a visit from Holly. It's usually Jolly who comes along to help us. What you doing, Holly girl? Huh? Oh, you're going to play with the tape? Hey. You're in the lights. Oh, she's my big fluffy girl, huh? Oh, no. I don't know what that is that you're about to eat, but don't. Oh, you want to lie down now? Okay. That way. Okay. Back. All right, so we'll have edited most of that out, but she wanted lots of snuggle time until she was distracted by a bird out the window. Okay, so I'm going to do the last of my little 1/4 inch tape here. Okay. Okay, so that's what's going to hold the pages in the book, is these pieces of tape. Okay, now on the other side, we have our 3/8 inch spaces, and we're going to put a little piece of 1/4 inch tape there, just in the ones between the pages. Okay, so we have this one, and whoops, that was my last little bit of 1/4 inch tape. I don't think I have any more. I have the 3/8, but I think it's going to be too wide for that. Let's see. Yeah, it's a little wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut it down, because this is the last piece I have to use of 1/4 inch, so. So that's just a piece of 3/8 that I cut down with a pair of scissors. Okay, there we go. All right, so now let me just review. On the side with the bumps, okay, you've put a 3/8 inch piece in one of each of your 1/2 inch pairs of score areas, okay? And then in between, in the 3/8 spaces, you put a 1/4 inch piece, okay? You have a 3/8 inch on the outside as well as these 2 inch spaces. Leave those for now. Then on the side with the divots, you put a 1/4 inch piece of tape in each of the 1/2 inch spaces, more towards the middle between the spaces, okay? Now the only other area that you're going to need tape is these 2 outer areas, and you want to do those completely. And I will usually use score sheets for that, like these. But if you don't have score sheets, and you might not, then you can still just go ahead and use your 3/8. And I will do that on one side. Sorry, I've got Holly left cat hair everywhere. So you can see. If you prefer to use glue for all of this, by all means you can. But this is one area where I pretty much always use tape. And then this last one's going to overlap, so I'll put that one on later. And then this, I need a piece 5 5/8 by 2 1/4. Good. You'll see using the sheets is so much faster. I use these for all my cover work if I can, if I have them. Sometimes I run out because I forget to reorder them. There we go. I'm a little short there, but that's okay. I can use a little piece of narrower tape there. Looking fine. All right, so just burnish all your tape. Okay. All right, now. All right, so you have all this, and it's a little confusing. But what you have is a 1/2 inch and then a gap, a 1/2 inch and a gap, a 1/2 inch and a gap. Okay, so what you want to do is fold between those so that you end up with your 1/4 inch on either side of the fold and this 1/2 inch coming down on there. And burnish. Okay, and then you want to fold it back on that fold right there. Just like that. Okay, and then we're going to do the next one. Fold the 1/2 inch over on the other 1/2 inch. Peel the back of your tape. My nails are a mess right now, but we are on, I'm filming this while we're on the self-isolation thing, so it is what it is. Just want to fold it up so you see you're making these vertical hinges. And you want to burnish those on both sides, in both directions. The more flexible these are now, the more flexible your pages will be in your book. The last one, this one, as I mentioned, only has 3 pages. Most of my books have either 3 or 4, depending how I made the pages. This one I did the folded page, so it's got 3. Fold it back on itself. Tip it up. Alright, so now you've got your vertical hinges, whether it's 3 or 5 or 6 or 2, however many you need for your book. Okay, and then the whole back has adhesive, except for this little bit that we're going to do right now. And then we're going to put it in our book. So let me show you how I go about that. Get rid of some of this stuff. And I'm looking for my pen or pencil because I need it. Pencil. There we go. All right. So what you want to do is you want to center this top to bottom and side to side in the book. Okay? And you can trim these if you want to. I'm not going to. They should be fine. And then once it's where you think it looks good, where it's top to bottom and side to side, and it's nice and straight, then you want to take, sorry, I just want to make sure this is, okay. Take your pencil and draw a line. Now, what I do, once I've drawn the line, so I'm just at 4 15/16 there, and I'm at 4 15/16 there, so it's straight. Just to double check that I made it straight. All right, now I am going to, because I am missing a little tape, I'm just gonna put that in. Other place where I want to put a little tape is right up here. I'm just going to fold that back. You could use glue, but I'm just going to use a little tape. And of course, this is not, I mean, the only reason I'm doing this is because I didn't measure I didn't cut my score sheet quite accurately. You just want to make sure the whole thing has adhesive. This is holding your pages in your book. It's the main part of the structure of the book. Whoops. So you want to make sure that it's well done. Okay, there we go. All right, so I've only taken tape off about 1 inch from this side. And then what we're going to do is line this up with the line that we drew, making sure it's even top to bottom. Okay, and just press down. Then you can lift it over and remove. I have a tool. Why am I not using it? Some more of this tape. Not the whole tape, obviously, but the back of the tape. And just roll it down. And you can see where it's easier to get this tape off if you just use a sheet instead of all those little individual bits. And then just let it go into place. Don't stretch it, but just sort of let it fall naturally. Mine's a little bit crooked, but it's fine. It won't show when the pages are in. Okay, there we go. And then burnish everything in place. Just like that. if you can see. In this particular book, there's quite a bit of space between the front and back cover and the first and last pages. I did that because I like to do waterfalls and things sometimes inside the covers or dimensional tags. That's certainly up to you. That's what determines that is going to be the width of the spine that you made. And I made my spine about a 1/2 inch bigger than I really needed for that. Okay, and that's it. You've got your hinges. I hope this is helpful. I'll be referring to this video often, so you might want to bookmark it or bookmark the playlist for construction where I'm showing you how to do covers, pages, now hinges, so that you can refer to them when you're making your books. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, all those other fun things, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.